What's up, Whittier?
Welcome to What's Up, Whittier, a homegrown podcast.
A podcast to showcase Whittier's businesses, personalities, and hidden treasures.
Hey guys, producer Christine here with this week's Community Corkboard announcements. Like every Friday from 8 a.m. to 1 p.m., we have the Whittier Farmers Market presented to you by the Whittier Uptown Association, located on the corner of Philadelphia and Bright. Next up, we have Movies in the Park. Why not bring your family out to enjoy a movie in the park? Which park? Parnell Park at 15390 Lambert Road. The next movie is August 4th, A Dog's Purpose, and September 1st there will be Star Wars, The Last Jedi. But let's not forget the best events going on in Whittier this summer. I say it and I'll say it again. It's the Whittier Concerts in the Park series. So excited. I just had, I think we're in week 2 right now as we're recording this. So I went to the one on Monday with Clapton Road, performing Eric Clapton classics, which was really awesome. I definitely suggest everybody go to the next one, which is July 12th with Trinity, who are performing Styx, Foreigner, and Journey classic hits. That will be at Parnell Park. Again, the address there is 15390 Lambert Road. On Monday, July 16th, the Kings of 88 will be playing Piano Rock. All concerts, again, begin at 7 p.m. All of these dates that I'm going to say, in case you want to write in your calendar, are going to be for Central Park. Mondays at 7 p.m. July 23rd, Identity Theft will be playing 80s. On July 30th, The Society will be playing top 40s. And August 6th, Einstein Band will be doing some reggae. Now these concerts will be the ones on Thursday at Parnell Park. So we do have the Trinity Band on July 12th, and then July 19th we have My Generation playing some British Invasion hits. This is taking the place of A Hard Day's Night, the Beatles cover band, which again I'm sad about. July 26th, Las Colibri, which is a women's mariachi group. We were not having the mariachi divas this summer, so we are having Los Colibri. Let's go out there and give them a Whittier welcome. August 2nd, we'll be having Cold Duck, who will be playing Latin and top 40 hits. And August 9th will be Time Bomb. It's a blast to the past, guys, from 1975 to 1985 hits. Again, if you would like any more of this information, you can check out the cityofwhittier.com. I think it's whittierparksandrec.com. Or you can just Google City of Whittier Parks and Recreation. Again, all concerts begin at 7 p.m. So bring your lawn chairs, blankets, and your dancing shoes. Do you ever wonder what the Chamber of Commerce actually does in the city of Whittier? Well, wonder no more. Why don't you head on over there, ask my girl Courtney what they're all about. But in case you can't make it over to the office and you are free Thursday, July 12th from 4 to 7 p.m., hit up their annual Shop Local event. This will be at Parnell Park right before the concerts in the park. So if you do plan on seeing some Trinity and getting your rock on, head on over to Shop Local. Also, are you subscribed to the Sustainable City newsletter yet? Well, let me tell you, I will drop all the links below and you can definitely look into it. It's really cool. I'm just looking at it right now. Let's see what we got going on. On Wednesday, July 11th at 6:30 p.m., meet your deputy. How are your county tax dollars spent? Well, District 4 County Supervisor Janice Hahn's local deputy, Ivan Sulik, provides an update on District 4 priority projects and issues in the greater Whittier area. This will be at Sage Restaurant, 6511 Greenleaf Avenue. And again, it is a free event at 6:30 p.m. Oh, well, this is cool. This is called Crafter Hours at the Whittier Library. So Friday, July 13th at 6:30 p.m., Chuck from Tandy Leather will lead a bookmark crafting program for adults. Learn introductory skills in leather craft and take home an original work. All materials will be provided, and this is a free event, guys. This is super cool. So again, it's at the Central Library, 7344 Washington Avenue, Friday, July 13th at 6:30 p.m. Alrighty guys, so this event looks like it's a little ways away, but we are in July, so this gives you ample time to train and put it in your calendar. October 27, 2018, Whittier will be having its 5K Spooktacular. What? I think this is going to be the 6th or the 7th year. I unfortunately was unable to participate last year, but I did participate the 2 years before that, and since now I have it on my calendar, I guess I'm going to have to go. I'm really excited. So make sure you get out there. Save the date, October 27, 2018. And I'm sure there will be more information. Once I find it, I will definitely let all of you guys know. Oh, and another event I just remembered from the Whittier Latino Coalition is a Candidate 101 training, How to Run for Office. This will be Saturday, July 21st, 2018 from 9 a.m. to 4 p.m. at the Sorensen Library. The training is free, but they ask for a $10 food donation, and you must RSVP to 562-699-4669. Again, this will be at the Sorensen Library. Alright guys, have anything you want us to feature in the Community Corkboard, tag us on Instagram. Check out our Facebook at What's Up Whittier. If you have anything that you'd like to send to the Community Corkboard, email us at communitycorkboard@whatsupwhittier.com. Or if that's confusing and too long, you can just use the other email, whatsupwhittierpod@gmail.com. If you'd like to be a sponsor for What's Up Whittier, you can shoot an email over to producer Christine at whatsupwhittier.com. Don't forget to follow all of our social media. Like I said, we're on Instagram, Facebook. Don't forget to check out Remo the Realtor at Remo the Realtor, remotherealtor.com. Just everything Remo the Realtor. And also our wonderful Jessie the Architect. I don't think he has jessiethearchitect.com, but he definitely has j2architects.com. And follow him, J2 Architects, on Instagram, and you can see all of the cool buildings that are coming up in Whittier. And you can follow me if you want. I am at The Singing Moon. I get a little political here and there in regards to local city politics. If that interests you, follow me. If it doesn't, don't follow me. But regardless, thank you for listening and subscribing to our wonderful show here, What's Up Whittier. And without further ado, Remo and Jessie, take it away. It's all yours.
What's up, Whittier?
What's up, Whittier, and all the people on Greenleaf?
What?
Dun, da, da, da.
Come on, man.
What happened to the hype person here? She was doing really good earlier. Start calling people out.
Yeah.
We had the hype woman. She now has a headset on, and she gets quiet as the show gets going.
Same
right.
act professional.
Yeah.
That's right.
Time to work.
Hello, everybody out there on Instagram. We're also streaming this live.
On Instagram.
Yes. Isn't that what I said?
Yeah. I'm streaming it somewhere.
Yeah.
On the Instagram world. So those that are on Instagram, hello.
So, Remo, what do we
Yes,
got
sir.
this week?
We have we did our taxes this week, Jesse. No, I'm just
Man,
kidding.
you're ahead of
We
me,
have-
man. I'm
no, we have a
behind.
special guest today.
Special.
Mm-hmm.
Right off the last event, big pop-up event. And if you follow his Instagram, he's got a lot of things going on. And we're here with Whittier Woodworks. And behind Whittier Woodworks, Mr. Ramiro.
Hi. Nice to meet you all. Nice to meet you guys.
Last
Jesse.
name, I don't want to mess it up. Even though I double-check with him.
It's Garate.
Garate, see that?
Growing up,
Garate.
it was like karate, but with a G.
There you go.
So that's
Welcome.
thank you. No, thank you guys for having me. Appreciate it.
We were just talking about the event you what was it, like a month ago? 2 months
No.
ago?
April 7th.
Has it been that long?
Dang.
Oh,
The,
yeah,
the
yeah,
2 months
antique
ago.
fair, right? The antique fair.
Yeah.
yeah, antique fair. So that was the last pop-up you had. I think or at least the biggest one,
The
right?
biggest one, yeah.
Yeah, because I know you do several between.
We did the
now and
art
then.
stroll recently.
Oh, there you go. That's
Yeah,
right.
the art
Oh,
stroll we
You
do.
do that every month, right?
Yeah.
Yeah.
We try
So-
to do it every month, yeah.
Yeah.
So far, we've been keeping up with it.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So tell us a little bit about what Whittier Woodworks is and a little bit about yourself.
Well, Whittier Woodworks, part-time passion, I guess. I have a full-time job. I work for the public health department, public health laboratories. So that's my full-time job. That was pays the bills and gets us health insurance and whatnot. But the Whittier Woodworks, it kind of started when we got our house. Like I was saying, Remo, we got our house. And
Did Remo sell you the house? Or,
No.
Not yet. Well, he's
I would've
upgrading
I
next
would have
month.
probably paid
and
a
he
little
said-
bit more,
Yeah.
but, you know.
You would have paid double. You
Yeah, see? That's to find somebody else. No, but when we got our house, it was a fixer-upper at that point.
Yeah.
So I was always very handsy, very DIY. And so, yeah, we started fixing up the house, and then somebody needed a patio table. I'm not going to point fingers, but somebody needed a patio table. So made a patio table, and it kind of just started rolling from there. My mom liked the table, so she asked me to make her one, but 10 feet long,
Yeah.
because she wants everybody sitting around it.
Yeah.
So, yeah, it just kind of just started going from there, making stuff for family, friends, and then they would tell, do this, and they would refer me to other people. And just recently, this past year, we beforehand we were doing more custom orders. You would just do custom orders, but like I was telling you guys, this past year for December is when we started doing pop-ups. So we started making stuff in hopes of selling. And so far it's been really good. Can't complain.
So your ideas, let's say that start with the patio, was it something where you saw it on an Instagram or on Pinterest, and she said, "Honey, can you make this?" And
it was kind of like that. She saw we both like a design on it, and at that point, it's one of those things where you kind of have to make it work within the budget, because obviously we were fixing up the house, and so the table I did, it was a design that she liked, but then I used the materials I wanted to use. So that's how we kind of blend our likes and things. It's usually I like the look that she likes, and then I kind of put my spin on it or whatever material it goes. And at the end, as long as she gets whatever she kind of wanted, we're both happy. Yeah. So we did. I ended up doing all reclaimed wood. I used pallet woods for the top.
Nice.
So it gives it like an old rustic look, and it was like a chevron print. And my mom liked the design, but she didn't like the old looking wood.
Yeah.
So we ended up making her one for redwood. So it's just a redwood board top, and same design, but just nicer looking wood.
Nice.
And yeah, that's how it kind of just started, because I made a couple of those tables because people liked the design of it.
Yeah.
So.
How long have you been doing this for?
Like professionally, try to do stuff maybe say like 2-3 years now.
Okay.
Yeah. Beforehand, like I said, it was just like hobbyish work.
Yeah.
So for the past couple of years, I've been doing it a little bit more and more and more. I started the Instagram started bringing in more people too, especially locally. When I started doing the art stroll or doing more local events, then people would be like, "Oh, well, I didn't know they had like woodworkers here."
Yeah.
And like if you really look into it, there's a few people that around the area that actually do stuff like this. So.
Okay. When did it start from being just something you did on the side or a hobby, as opposed to, you know what, this is actually you can make a buck from this?
Maybe it was like 2 years ago. It was around 2 years ago when the orders were stopped coming from like mostly family and friends. When they started coming from like, oh, well, I saw this table that you posted, or I saw this.
That's when you sort of had to actually start charging, right?
Yeah, that's what I started. I'm like, okay, I charge you double now. Yeah, there you go. So no, that's how it kind of started when I started noticing like it's people that are not related to you.
Yeah.
You know, that they actually, because in the essence, I mean, they're family. So you make them a table, they're gonna say, "Oh, it's beautiful."
Yeah.
Whether they like it or not, that's
standing on 3 legs, but it's
exactly. As long as it doesn't wobble, they're happy. Yeah. But when other people like non-friends, I mean, still the referrals per se, but when more people started coming, and I'm like, oh, I was saying, well, I'm not going to be quitting my day job, but at least it's something that we could do on the side. And
do you tell them you charge extra for the wobble, or do you just?
I call it rustic.
There you go.
It's a rustic look.
The wobble's included.
Yeah, that's
wobble or no wobble.
If you want fine furniture, you talk somewhere else. But wobble rustic, you come to the right person over here.
Like Whittier Woodwork, wobble.
There you go. Wobble, wobble, wobble.
Wobble, yeah.
That's the logo. Wobble, wobble, wobble.
It's funny that when I found you on Instagram, it's one of those things where I like seeing people put things together. Mm-hmm. Just especially if you're dealing with working with your hands and stuff like that. And so I watch a lot of like woodworking videos on Instagram or Facebook or YouTube.
Yeah.
And you popped up on one of those videos, and I'm like, oh, that's kind of cool. There's a video, or there's a woodworking place here in Whittier, and it makes sense because there's nobody. It would make more sense here in Whittier because, you go back to history. There's a lot of old antique places, and there's a lot of kind of people that are still holding on to the. Kind of that feel of workmanship, craftsmanship, and they really value that. And so, for me, it was like, oh, that's kind of cool. That totally makes sense to be able to have a place like that because, people would value it, people would desire it, and really appreciate it. And again, just seeing the stuff you pull up on my basket, I mean, it's for me, it's like very simple and clean, but yet very, very useful, practical, because you get some stuff that you're like. I'll get a big table, but then the table you might use like once in a while and stuff like that. But there's some stuff on there I thought was pretty cool.
Thank you.
You want to walk through what you brought us here? And
Sure. Well, it's little samples of stuff that I didn't know what to bring, but I know a lot of people.
Where's the patio set or the?
I know. Patio set's right here. But yeah, that's another thing about doing pop-ups. Like, I can't take a big table.
Yeah.
You know, like, I can't take a big bench. And I have pictures of it. That's why I usually post stuff on Instagram. So I'd be like, well, you know what? Can I do a bench? And I'd be like, I'm like, you know what? Look at my Instagram. I have a couple of benches in there. And so they're able to see the bigger items. But for smaller items, like, this one's like a little beer caddy that I did.
yeah,
It's
I
like
thought it was pretty cool, man.
a little mid-century modern kind of thing. With
Yeah.
Like, and it's walnut and a little gold bottle opener. And even, I mean, we don't use it a lot for beer, but she uses it whenever we have functions. She puts like her napkins or forks or whatever, and it's easier for her to move around.
Yeah.
So we did
So
that.
what does something like that cost, and just how long does something like that take you?
It's taking a little bit less time now because she is helping me a lot with the finishing part. Because beforehand, when I was doing this, it was just me. She's busy with our kid and work and stuff like that. So
Sure.
her help is letting me go outside and do these things. But something like this, it takes you longer doing it the first time because you don't know what you're doing.
Yeah.
So you're kind of like cutting, finagling, trying to get all the measurements to fit in. But then that's why usually once I finish something and I figure out, okay, it works this way, I always try to take like measurements and notes and stuff. If I could make a template, even better. So that'll be repeatability will be easier than the long one. But like a couple of weeks would take me something like this now. I already know how to do it. I have this one that I could always go back on and get the measurements from.
And is the goal to try to have a template for each of them?
If it's like a one of a kind, it's hard for like, let's say for my charcuterie boards. I usually don't have a template for them, even though I make a lot of them, because I usually like going with the grain of the wood. So like with this one, like the handle, I wanted to put it around this knot, so you could kind of see the rings going off of it. And each piece of wood is different, so you don't know what you're gonna get. Like when I buy the wood, it's rough, so that's why I brought a sample. So it's similar like this, lumber yard, and see it, saw marks. And once you start working it, you start processing it. Basically, you start shaving it off, and then that's when you get to see what's underneath it and how you can shape it and how you can work with it.
And that's what I'm talking about. It's like just that eye, that feeling of being able to touch it, see it, and then kind of have that wood tell you how it needs to be cut, how it needs to be shaped, and how one piece does not overlay exactly to the next piece. And they're all like essentially custom pieces, even though you're trying to make them all the same,
Exactly.
right?
No, and it's more and more like my wife is seeing that too, because we went to this at the antique fair.
Yeah.
We had this one cutting board that this one a lady liked, and then she's I'll come back in a bit. I'm like, okay, no problem. She took off, and then another couple came in, picked that board up, and then like two other boards, and then purchased for a wedding, and then two of them were going to be for her house. And then after that, she came back and said, "Oh, can I see?" I'm like, I just sold it. She said, "Well, do you have another one?" I'm like, fortunately, like literally, like you're saying, it's one of a kind kind of piece, not to be like all dramatic, but it's one of a kind. Like I don't have one. I could make you something similar to it, similar dimensions or whatever, or even because that board had like a live edge to it, so like the edge of a tree on the end of it, you could see it. So, and I really like those pieces because it kind of gives you the fact that it wasn't processed. It wasn't. It was a natural tree that was turned into this. So I love keeping that live edge whenever possible, and that's what she liked too. So it took us a couple of weeks, but we ended up finding a board that had similar characteristics to the one that she liked, and we made her another one for her. And it was at that point it was custom, but it's similar to something that she had seen before.
Nice.
Now, do you go to a lumber yard and just kind of, I don't want to say how women shop, but just walk around and, kind of see different pieces?
No, you got it right. It's about how the women shop.
Right.
Yeah. She's been with me. So
honey, if you're listening, that was not me. That was, no.
No, it usually, because usually I take my daughter to school and I pick her up after work. So I always try to do trips like that when I don't have her, because for me it's not boring, but she's still a kid. She's still alive. So
you're looking at the same wood, Dad.
Yeah, exactly. I mean, she's cool
because she's
like jumping from board to board. But even then, like, I don't have the time to actually look through boards and try to find.
I'm sure the lumber mill really appreciates it.
Yeah, no. Surprisingly, they're really cool. It's a smaller lumber yard. It's in the city of I want to say Vernon, like close to HP. And they've been there. Well, not in that spot, but they've been open since like 1940s. I want to say.
Yeah,
so it's like an old lumber yard, and the people there are really cool. It's Bonhoff Lumber, so they're really cool. They have and even then, like, you go in, and a lot of places they don't let you kind of like sift through it. You kind of order what you need, they give you whatever you need, and that's it. The look of the draw. But with them, they actually let you go in. If I know I'm going to pick up, let's say, walnut, I go and look through the boards that I like, grab them and go. They count them up, and that's it.
And what are the when you say look through boards? How big are these typical boards you're looking at? Are you getting big sheets? Are you getting 12 by 20 sheets?
Well, now when we first started, we were going. They have like a little small section of cutoffs, so they were like 3 foot lengths. So for me, it was perfect because I wasn't doing a lot of the hardwood stuff in the beginning. But now we're doing enough where we're getting they're 12-foot long boards.
Wow.
And they're maybe between 6 to 8 inches wide, depending on, and some might even wider. But anything wider than 8 inches is too big for me to work with what I have at home. So that's limiting a bit, but it works for me right now. So you just go in through. They have stacks and stacks and stacks, whatever you want. Like I was saying, depending on what color wood you want. If you want to leave it naturally, obviously you could stain the wood to whatever color you want. But if you want just a natural look, they have different colored woods. And it's just you pick out whatever you need, whatever they have, and then go from there.
Now, going back to that piece with the bottle opener, you mentioned 2 weeks that it would take. Now, if you were working on it pretty consistent, where someone says, you know what, I want something like this, and you have a weekend off, and you're just starting right on it, how long would it take?
If it's something if it's just this that I'm doing, a weekend would be more than enough, because as long as I have the wood, because then they're only open during the week, so it's one of those. Tell me during the week, I'll pick up whatever I need if I don't have it at home. Because I've done smaller projects, and the turnaround has been some photographers. They're on Instagram too. They would ask for little baby crib props, and they've already purchased Carlos and Brenda Photography. They purchased a couple of different little props that they've done, and literally they tell me, hey, can you make this? When they send me a picture and measurements that they want, and I'm like, you know what? Let me check if I have the wood at home. If I do, then it wouldn't be a problem. And it's pine, so usually I have plenty of pine at home. And that was something like that. We could knock it out over the weekend. More than anything is the finishing that takes a little bit longer when it's starting clear. And especially with stuff like that, I always try to air it out because you still take a smell from it. So, in a weekend it could be done. I always give it a week to kind of air it out and make everything ready.
And that's something that just someone that doesn't work wood would always assume, well, why would it take that long? But like you said, if you're putting a coat on it or you're doing something to it, it has to dry, or there has to be some finish done to it.
Yeah,
right?
And each step you have to let the wood settle, and that's what I've never taken classes for any of this. So a lot of the stuff that I've done, it's more of a learning process for me. It's YouTube University. So literally all the videos I see online and stuff like that, I'm like, I wonder how to make this. I'm like, let me search YouTube. So people have made stuff, and it's after, let's say you get a rough wood, after you smooth out both sides, you have to let it sit for a day. It gives it time to either warp on you or crack on you or whatever. And if it does it, awesome. Then you just keep going. You start cutting it down and building from it. But if it does, then you have to work with those. You have to either try to fix the problem or start again with a new board.
Nice. Out of all the pieces you've done, what's your number one seller? What do you get calls for a lot?
Charcuterie boards.
Really?
It's the fancy cutting board, but it's a charcuterie board. It's just for displaying food, like wine, cheeses, and we sell a lot of those. So usually at every show we have at least 6, 7 of them, and they do sell. What else do we usually do? Bottle openers. We made little bottle openers, and
that's pretty cool.
Yeah, it's different laminated woods, and people trip out when I tell them, "Oh, it wasn't stained." That's the natural color of the wood. The only thing that we added was the hardware.
Yeah.
So those sell pretty good.
And is this something that's a little bit quicker to make?
Yeah, I mean, I have a bunch of blanks basically on hand. So whenever, if let's say we do a show, for some reason we sell out, I have plenty right there to start making more. With those, it's a bit more consistent because the shape is the same.
Yeah.
If anything, maybe just the width of the wood or the colors of the wood.
Would this be a teardrop or is it?
Yeah, it's something like a teardrop.
I'm just trying to,
because you want to put it right here by your
It's
eye.
a club.
Yeah.
It's a club, man. It's
For our lovely people on. Oh, just kidding.
You could get 3 of them right there if you want.
A necklace, just in case. You just be like, oh.
What about your favorite piece? What do you enjoy doing the most? Or if you could do more, what would you? Is there a specific type of project?
I like doing the smaller ones. Like I like doing tables because that's when I first started, is doing tables.
Yeah.
But with my space, I'm limited. So I work out of if anything, maybe it's considered a 2-car garage.
Yeah.
It's like 17, 18 feet wide.
Yeah.
So that's where I get all my work done from there. So if I have a 6-foot table, that basically takes up everything because my tools are there too. They're on wheels, so I'm able to move them around. Yeah. But yeah, it's a table. So the smaller projects, I could have like 2-3 small projects going on, and I'm happy because then I get not bored, but let's say, you know what, I need a break from this, and I have something else right here. Yeah. With the table, it's the table. I can't do anything else until the table gets out. So even if I start something else, the table might get damaged. Yeah.
How long did you work on that first table when you put it together?
Man, that took me
forever.
Oh man, see, the more I get, and I'm not saying the tools got better, but you get a little bit you wise up with what you need to do. Because before it was like, if it was a repeated cut, I would measure each cut.
Yeah.
And now okay, I'm gonna have 10 of the same cuts. You put a little stop lock, you put, and it's faster. And it's little tricks that you learn along the way that speed up the process. But yeah, even the cutting board, it took me forever to do my first cutting board, and that was for my mom I think it was for her birthday. Yeah. It's still pristine because she doesn't use it because it's too nice to use.
Yeah, it's so hanging there.
Yeah, and last time I opened the drawer and it was in a drawer, and I'm like, oh wow, it's held up pretty good. And my dad told me, well, ask her why. Ask her how many times she uses it. And she's like, what? It's my cutting board. I can use it however many times I want.
It's been in the safe.
Yeah. But, so, yeah, even that. Now we could knock out a couple of cutting boards in a weekend.
Nice.
And so, yeah, it's just a matter of once you do it once, then you can, okay, I know what I'm doing. So now you either fix the problems you encounter with the first one and you start producing more.
And the serving board that you have, what's the biggest size that it comes in?
It's not even a serving board, but it's a paddle. I mean, I think
we think alike because I said the exact same thing.
You guys aren't the only ones. Every show, you get one of those.
Or a big butcher knife, right?
Yeah. The majority from our charcuterie boards, I try to keep them around 36 inches long. They're around 3 feet from handle to the end.
And what is that, about 30
inches? This one's
inches?
about 24, 26, a little bit shorter. But I was working with the wood that I have. So this one is rainbow poplar. So a lot of people trip out that think that I'm the one that stained it, and that's just the natural color of the wood. All we did was just sand it and then seal it with mineral oil, so it's food safe. And yeah.
And how wide does something like that get?
As wide as you want. I have the charcuterie boards. I think I try to keep them around under 8 inches. It's ideal for you could store it easier, for display, even for carrying it. Because a piece of like walnut, hardwood, it gets heavy. Yeah. So anything bigger than that, it'll look nicer, but it becomes a bit impractical in my ideas. So I mean, we have two cutting boards. I think one of them is like 4 feet long, and then one of them is 5 feet long.
Wow.
And I did it because I saw a post on Instagram where this guy made a huge one. Yeah. And I told her, I want to make one of those. She's like, you're never going to sell it. I'm like, I don't care. It'll be a statement piece. Yeah. People will take pictures with it. So we made 2 of them. So
now you got to go buy the smallest knife you can find and then put it right next to it. Yeah.
There you go.
Hi, Rose Rieslein here, owner of the Collab Inc. We are located in the heart of Uptown, 6709 Greenleaf Avenue. We're a collaborative co-working space, the first one here in Whittier. We have undedicated workspace, private cubicles, conference room, and private offices coming soon. We also will be hosting networking events and business development workshops. So we're super excited to have our professionals and entrepreneurs come in here and co-work. _collab_Inc. for Instagram. And then on Facebook, we are the Collab Inc. You can find out what we're all about and see our schedule of events at thecollabinc.com. You can also learn about our membership prices, fee structures, daily rates, and event space rates. We are a 2-minute walk from our parking structure on Bright Avenue. Come sit with us.
So out of all the wood that you work with, what's your favorite wood to work with?
I think it's been walnut. That's what I've been using a lot.
Yeah.
But each one of them has, like, I really like the rainbow poplar, just because of the crazy colors, and that's naturally how it is.
Yeah.
I really like it, but I don't come across it very much. Walnut, depending on how you stain it, like, it could be either this brown or it could be as dark as that.
Yeah.
And it's just depending on the board. So it has a nice little color variance.
Jesse, did you? If we could show that piece, look how many pieces of wood is in there in that piece.
Well, to one, right?
It's 3 pieces.
3?
Yeah.
Nice.
3 pieces glued together.
And they're all the natural, just again with the oil.
Yeah, just the natural color of it. People think that they stain it and they think, is it safe because you stained it? I'm like, no, that's that's Paduke, which is naturally red. And then cherry has that orange color to it. Mm-hmm. And then the walnut is naturally this brown. A lot of people like this color, so they're like, oh, can you stain the color? And they have stains that will mimic this color. By the time, like, no, this is the natural color of the wood.
It is what it is, yeah.
And how long would the oil keep it sealed, the mineral oil?
After washes. So I usually tell people with anything that's sealed, like mineral oil that's food safe, I always recommend maybe after like a wash or two, just rub it with mineral oil. Or you could buy cutting board oil. They sell them all over the place.
Well, the beauty about it being natural and being wood is that even if you were to cut on it without a sealer or something, I mean, still wood. I mean, it's not.
But it's not porous where it's gonna.
Well, that's why you put the mineral oil.
It'll grab. I mean, you're not cutting meat in this thing. You're like, more like fruits or.
Yeah, well, you could. There's the hardwoods. You could technically cut meat on it, and that's why they always, for the cutting boards, they ask for hardwoods that are close grained, because the open grain like oak, if the whole thing, where like you say you cut meat or chicken, if you don't wash it properly, then the bacteria will start growing in it.
The reason why I ask is we had one. I think we were walking IKEA and we picked one up, just a cutting board. And then I want to say we probably used it once or twice, put it in the Lazy Susan. One time I opened the Lazy Susan, I'm like, what the hell smells in here? And it was a cutting board. And I swear we probably used it one time. I thought we washed it, and then it just got tossed. So,
it'll pick up if it's not sealed properly. And that's why I always tell, because even at one point, like I know if you do use them a lot, and I always tell anybody, like if it ever gets to a point where you use it a lot and it's really scratchy, go ahead and bring it back to me. Give me like a weekend, sand it down for you, and bring it back to life for you. And I mean, as long as you maintain them, they should last.
And the oil, you just get and just rub it like you would a stain in a way?
Basically,
and just get it, let it soak in.
You leave it on there for like 15 minutes. Mm-hmm. I always leave it on for, even after I put mineral oil on these, I always put it's a cutting board wax. You could buy it at Battles, Home Depot, Lowe's, anywhere. Any hardware store will have it. Mm-hmm. And that same thing too. You just rub it on it. You let it sit for like 20 minutes, and then you just buff it out, and it's shiny again, smooth.
Nice. Yeah. When you give or someone buys one of these, do you give them the instructions that hey, you need this?
We do, and I was telling her too. Like after every show, we kind of learn something new.
Got it.
So we are gonna make up like little maintenance cards, kind of.
Got it.
And we're gonna attach them to every cutting board.
Yeah,
but we do tell them. Like if you ever have any questions, obviously, contact me. If you ever have any problems, go ahead and contact. We'll try to fix it. But we always tell them that maybe after a couple of washes, add some mineral oil. Just rub it on, and that's it. With mineral oil, it'll soak it in quickly if it needs it. Got it. We usually leave ours soaking overnight. So at that point, it's just soaked up as much as it could.
And you said with the hardwood, if you use a knife on it, it's not going to scratch or or scrape the wood?
It won't, like with this one, and you'll feel it. Like you could dig your nail into this, and you'll feel it, but not as soft as like pine. If you put your pine, you'll feel it
right
it'll
away.
go right away. Yeah. So with this one, as long as you're not hacking away like a butcher block, you'll be fine. Yeah. So I would see it not giving you any problem for like a year or so. If maybe that is constant use and you're actually getting good use out of it, then yeah, you'll start seeing the scratches. You'll start seeing everything to a point where, you know what, bring it in, sand it, and we'll be good. But as far as to be trashed, like I said, unless you're going to town with it with a butcher knife like this, then,
Start opening up a little taco stand, man, and just start hacking away.
I know. I've been wanting to do a butcher block, because even butcher block, it's different too. It's a little bit more work than like a regular cutting board, and people would like it and they would see it, but I usually don't make them because it's, as it is with these, it's sometimes hard to sell them.
Yeah.
And so with a butcher block, I think once I get some time, I'll probably end up doing one, just because it doesn't take up too much space. But it's, if you do it's the end grain, which will be the hardest part of the wood, and that one you can go to town with it with a butcher block or whatever, with a butcher knife, and no scratches whatsoever.
Nice.
Wow, that's really cool. And it's because you're closer to the grain or to the
well, it's the edge piece,
nut?
so it's this part. So with this part, since the fibers of the wood are going this way, even if you start cutting it, you won't open them up because they're kind of pointing forward. So if you get a knife, it's just kind of going in between it. So it's harder too, because when you're sanding it too, it takes a lot longer than the face grain. So that's why it's better for like butcher shops and things like that.
But that means if you're going top down, you can't get them that big.
No, that's why it's more work, because you kind of, let's say if you're going to do a butcher block with this design, you glue it up like this first, then you cut this one, and then you flip them forward, and then you glue them again. So it's like you're creating like almost two cutting boards just with that one cutting board, because you have to glue them all together first. You slice them, and then the sliced pieces you glue them face up, and then you sand them again and get them smooth.
Yeah.
So it's more work, but you know it's nice cutting board. If it's something that you know you're going to use, I mean, you can't beat something like that.
Yeah.
How do people order these things? Do they come to you, give you a call, or Instagram, or website, or
Mostly Instagram. We're working on a website, but right now most of the stuff is Instagram, email. We don't have a Facebook yet. We've been hesitant on social media.
you don't need a Facebook. That's Remo.
It's going out of business.
Isn't it?
No.
Yeah, okay. All right, I was going to buy stock, but it's not.
It's just like MySpace. It's all.
But no, like we haven't, as it is, I mean, we're not big on social media. I mean, we had our personal account just to share pictures of our kid when we got married.
But you see the power of it, right? Cause
Now that's why whenever when I was talking to my wife, I'm like, you know what? You know, if we are going to do this for taking orders, then we're going to have to open at least, like, I don't want a Facebook account. She said, I don't want to. Like, let's do Instagram. At least it's just pictures, you know, a little bit simpler to handle. And yeah, we did that, and majority of the orders come through Instagram or email. But we do get a lot of people from shows. When we do the antique fair, we got a couple of orders from there too.
Nice.
And I always invite people, like, not necessarily to go and buy stuff, but at least, let's say if you show up, you could see kind of like different type of woods you can do, because it's different seeing them in pictures than seeing them in person.
Yeah.
And that way you could get a feel of, you know, the type of wood that if you end up choosing somebody or doing something with, not, let's say if it's not with me, but at least it'll give you ideas of what you would like to do.
Yeah.
So I have an idea, and so this I think is gold, and it's gonna just get you to quit your job, and you're gonna do this full time. You know, the idea of the teddy bear, right? And kids have a teddy bear, but then you go to these stores, and I don't know what they're called, and you can create your own teddy bear.
The creative
Build-A-Bear. And these Build-A-Bears are how much? They're
I just
$100?
went 2 weeks for my daughter's birthday. That was her birthday gift, and they get you, man.
So
It's
how,
like
what-
20.
Extra
It's 20.
fluff.
It's $20 for the bear itself, but then they get you on the accessories, man. I end up walking out with like $100 bear, man.
So here's this. If, as you say, the wood and so forth. I mean, coming to like the antique fair, I would say if I can go in there and customize, pick my wood, pick the size, pick the cut, and then you get a custom piece. That's something that someone will pay more as opposed to it being off the shelf. And so I think that might be a pretty cool niche where.
And that's why I invite people, like people that are interested in getting a cutting board. I always tell, not like I said, obviously it may be nice to buy something, but with me it's more of like coming in and you get to see the different colors of the wood. So that way you could, let's say Paduke, it's red, but then you could see like the color of the red. You could customize your own. And for me, I wouldn't charge them anymore for doing that. It would just be a matter of having it there and just making it. Because even I was bouncing ideas off of my wife the other day about doing like a little workshop with cutting boards. But even then, that would be like a whole weekend thing. Because the first day you would come in and you build your cutting board, whatever color you want, whatever grain you want, whatever length you want. And then the first day it's just that, and you glue it together, and that's it. You can't do anything to it till the following day. And the following day, that's when you would start the finishing process. So that's when you start sanding it, leveling it, and then towards the end of the day, you just dip it in oil at home, and you have your own cutting board.
So I have the next great idea for you, right? So
Look at Remo.
Right across the street,
right? Okay.
Right across the street.
At no cost. At no cost.
There's this place, and if you've been inside, it's called the Knotted Apron. Have you heard of them? You've been inside?
Yeah.
Okay, so it is a cooking school, right? So you go in there, husband and wife, significant other, you pay $60, $70, and you learn how to make dinner, and then you eat it. So if you were to charge, $50, people bring their own wood, and it's an ongoing thing where it's a group of 5, whatever people, they come and they cut the thing together, and that's day 1 or Saturday 1. Mm-hmm. I think that will be really cool because some people have the passion, like Jessie, that want to, get kind of your hands dirty.
The tools and stuff like that, yeah.
Maybe the safety thing, they have to sign something.
And I always try to make stuff reasonable for people because I know people want something nice, but it could get expensive for nice stuff. So I always try to work with people's budget. So I've done pieces where I didn't finish them. I just kind of made it for them. So at that point, they just stained it, painted it, finished it however they wanted. And they still get a custom piece that they helped make. And I think it gives them a little bit more sense of pride because I'm like, you finished that. You did that. Like, I just slapped it together, but you finished it to make it look nice for the space that you wanted. Yep. And so I always try to do that. But stuff like that, it's just have to figure out something that's small enough. If it's something like that, I've never had an issue with helping people out. Like if it's either giving advice with limited knowledge right now, So like if it's something advice, I'm more than happy to do it. People have helped me out, so it would be wrong of me not to help other people out. Yeah. So helping people out has never been an issue. Nice. Even if it's a simple thing like, hey, you know what? I have these boards. You think you could chop them down for me? Bring them over. As long as I know you, because then you're coming to my house.
Now you know Remo, so Remo's gonna be at your door.
I'm actually pulling up. So we like I was telling you earlier, we had this glue lamp piece, and they cut a little piece of it off because we didn't need all of it, and I have this 6 by 16 by about 20-inch piece of wood that had just been sitting near my front door, and I'm thinking, man, I need to turn this into a cutting board. So I just did a screenshot here, and I'll show you, but it's not the best picture, but. So what if it's something like a glue lamp, right? What could actually be done with something like that that's been sitting out there for a month or 2 in the exterior?
I wouldn't do it food safe because glue lamp, you have different types of glues, different type of finishes. You don't know what kind of stuff they put in it. So if you're going to be using knives on it, you could finish it in a sense where it'd be like something serving wise, but not necessarily cutting board, like when you're cutting stuff in it.
And it would still be safe to serve.
Yeah, if you're going to put a protective finish over it, like any furniture, you always seal it. But with something like that, you could still, because even though they have salad bowl finishes, and I've used that one too, and it's just you're just putting a clear protectant over it, so it won't, so you can still clean it, and you won't obviously rub off any stain or anything. With that, you could always put some legs on it, make it like a little side table. If you want to do like something kitchen-wise, you could maybe put some like leather handles on the side, and it'll be like a big like beefy butcher block.
How would you put leather handles on the side?
They sell them.
So you would they be more like a U shape that
and then you just grab it and like screw it into the wood, and then you have a big beefy one. Okay. You could buy them because they usually sell like real leather like handles for like kitchenware, like for your kitchen cabinets and stuff, like little pulls. we've seen stuff like that. So.
All right, we'll be over tomorrow with the board.
Just make it a big doorstop, man.
There you go. Or a big doorstop.
Yeah.
Shape it out.
So were you born or raised here in Whittier?
No, I was born in Los Angeles. I grew up in Los Angeles. Maybe I came here a couple of times when the Nixon building was a club. Back in
the good old days.
Yeah, back in there.
Yeah, an Ibiza local, huh?
Yeah, exactly. Even then, I wasn't a big club person, but we came here, I think, with friends. So that's like your first Whittier experience. But I was always, for some reason, I was always drawn here.
Yeah.
Even when we got married and we were looking for a place, her family is more towards like Covina, Chino Hills, and my family's in LA. So, and then same thing with work. I work in Downey and she works in Diamond Bar. So we wanted something low centralized. Mm-hmm. So Whittier kind of fell into that place.
Nice.
So when we got married, we moved here, and we were renting a little back house by Whittier College. And even then, we're like, Whittier College? Oh, should be too bad. I grew up, my senior year, we were next to USC, so.
Oh, okay.
You had parties there, but we're like, that'll be fine.
Yeah.
It was not quiet. Yeah. So we would walk up here every week, not every weekend, but we would walk over here, have some drinks, eat. It was pre-child, so. It was more speakeasy that way.
Yeah. Yes.
Yeah, so, but even now, she loves it, so. And she's a good eater. Like, she's not a picky eater. She's a slow eater, but she's not a picky eater. Yeah. So, we've tried different places, and she'll find something there that she'll eat. So even now, like, I'm glad we're still able to do that. Come down here, have a drink, grab something to eat. We're like, 10 minutes away from the house.
Nice.
So it's not that bad.
So when you come up here, have you been kind of recognized? Do people say, hey, are you the woodwork guy?
No, and it's funny, too, because, like, it's weekends, when we're like, let's go have breakfast in Uptown. And then she's like, well, like, I have to get dressed. I'm like, let's just go quickly. We'll just grab a quick bite.
Yeah.
Like, we're not going to run into anybody. Like, really, we're not. Like, I don't know that many people. And then she's like, no, we need to get ready. I'm like, all right, fine. So, they take their time. They get ready. And, like, we go to a restaurant, and we run into, like, Pedro from We're With You. Pedro and Jen. Mm-hmm. And she's like, see? I told you we're going to run into people, And it's just them. Yeah. But then we go, and then we run into other people, and we're like, dang. So, like, now, like, all these people are, like, they recognize me, or they recognize my daughter. Because I do a lot of stories to my daughter. Yeah. So, they'll recognize us. And even her, she's run into, like, school buddies here. Yeah. Where they're like, hi, Natalia. And I was like, who knows you?
Who's that?
She's like, oh, that's my friend so-and-so from school. Like, we're playing this and this and that. And we're like, dang, like, you're getting recognized. Like, all right, cool.
You're like, she has her own Instagram.
Yeah, I know. We should open up our own little woodshop helper or something.
Oh, that's funny.
Yeah. But no, more and more, it's weird. But I've known, like, a lot of the shop owners, so that's also nice, too. Yeah. Like, I've started doing more of the whole shop local stuff, so small business stuff. Yeah. So, and it's nice because you're actually able to support people that, do all these things for the local city and whatnot.
Yeah. What out of all the events you do, what's your favorite so far? Is there like one that you kind of look towards every? Because I know you do the monthly, obviously, art show,
yeah.
And I know you probably do several pop-ups, but like, is there one that you're like, man, this is just it for me?
It was the first one. I really liked the first one that we did. It was just super small. I think it was maybe like 10, 12 vendors.
Nice.
But it was the Whittier handmade pop-up. It's every day is like Sunday. She sets it up, Dana. And they usually have, if anything, maybe like 3-4 events a year. Yeah. Spring, summer, fall. And then, 3, because spring, summer, and then fall, Christmas one. Yeah. And that was really nice because I knew a lot of them there. A lot of the vendors there, like, I've met them before. And it's people doing stuff from their house. They're just selling stuff. And it's nice because you recognize them and they recognize you and you talk to them. And it was my first event, so I was, like, super, like, stressed, like, worried. Not stressed, but worried. Like, I'm like, nobody's going to buy anything. I'm just going to come home with everything. And,
start giving away.
Where am I going to put it? And then she was like, Christmas is coming up. We'll hand out cutting boards for Christmas.
Yeah. You get a cutting board. You get a cutting board.
Everybody
just
gets
like
a cutting board. Just throw cutting boards everywhere.
That's funny.
But, no, like, it was awesome. I had a blast. The time flew by quickly. Towards the end, I was like, wow, it's already 3:00, and it was just because it was so small. You were able to communicate with everybody. Like you're still talking to people. People would come in, and it was at somebody's house. So it wasn't even like a big event, somebody's backyard. People just show up, and it's word of mouth at that point. Nice. It's just people who you invited, who you told, or people that follow who, so and so. Yeah. And it was fun. That was the first show that I did, and it was very enjoyable. So that's how I was like, you know what, then we could probably do something. Yeah. So that's when we did, the next one we did was the art stroll. And it did good, but for those, I think we get more orders.
Yeah, for people,
sales,
they got ideas and they want to do something.
Yeah. So we did that one because we had stuff left over from Christmas. And then we just kept on doing it. One day out of the month.
What has been the weirdest, or not weirdest, but the
weirdest request?
An order that you like, man, that's like, you almost have to scratch your head on that one and say, can I do it? Can I not do it? Or
I don't know.
Like Remo turning this big beam into...
I know. I think that was been the weirdest one, right? LVL turned into a cutting board.
Well, it's just wood I have at home, so it's I feel bad throwing it away, so that's why I just sat there holding up this broken statue in front of our house for the last 3-4 months.
Yeah. No, I don't know. I mean, I haven't gotten anything too strange. I got something like paddle comments with the charcuterie boards, but
or something that you received and you're like, man, that's a cool little project or challenge, and let's get to it.
Like the little cribs that I've done, because it's small pieces, and I like doing those little prop things, and it's. I even got a coworker of mine. He ordered it's like a little display, and that was a little head scratcher. So I enjoyed it because trying to figure out how to do it, because he only showed me a picture. And it was, those little Zoom Zoom characters, the little plush toys from Disney. Mm-hmm. So it was shaped like a house, and then the chimney is the door is clear, so you could see your display, your collection, and you drop them through the chimney, and they land. So just trying to figure it out, I'm like, okay, it's doable. He's like, can you do that? I'm like, yeah, I could do that. But I'm like, how am I going to do that? So that was an interesting little job.
There you go, Remo. Your next project right there.
Zoom display.
The Remo house.
Once I have a Zoom Zoom, or I know what a Zoom Zoom is. So what kind of tools do you have then at home to just do? Because that sounds like it's not just a saw that you have, right?
Well, most of them, it's just figuring out how to do it with what you have. I mean, we've slowly, I've been, I guess, collecting all these tools. And the table saw, I think, is the one that I use the most now. I was a bit intimidated at first. You see all these stories about people cutting their fingers off. Yeah. So that was a bit intimidating. But no, you buy certain safety things and try to keep your fingers away from it. But no, the table saw is good with that stuff. Very versatile machine. It's big, and it helps you do a lot of those angle cuts, a lot of weird cuts, and safer if you know how to use it. Clamps. I mean, clamps is something that you use with everything. With all these cutting boards, I mean, you have to have plenty of clamps to squeeze all the boards together when you're gluing them up. Table saw, miter saw. My wife is getting into scroll work, so it's like the blade is maybe like this big. It's kind of like a sewing machine. It's just going up and down, but that's when you shape the wood, so you're able to cut out wording, designs. Letters.
Oh, so you can actually engrave almost letters in a board?
Not engrave it, but let's say if you have a big piece and you just want to cut out a circle, or let's say a love, or what have you, you draw it out with a pen, and then you kind of just run it, and it's just a blade that's going up and down, and you just move the board to follow the line that you want.
Got it. So it just shaves off a little bit.
Yeah, it just cuts it.
Got it.
Yeah, but even that with engraving, I've gotten orders for Valentine's Day. I made cutting boards with a little heart, or stuff like that, and I've gotten a couple of orders for more of those. And I guess right now it's wedding season, so I'll probably do a couple of them and have them ready in case anybody wants something like that. It's already ready made, and you can just take it instead of waiting a week.
Nice. Yeah, that's a heck of a wedding gift. That's a pretty cool wedding gift.
I think so. I think it's very personable. I mean, you could always personalize it with either the person's name,
initials.
Yeah, and if it's that's one of those things that at the antique fair, she bought it for a friend that was getting married in the East Coast, but he grew up here in Whittier. So he's like, oh, he's gonna love it because he grew up here. So knowing that it was made by someone here, like he's gonna even appreciate it even more. And she's gonna like it because it was in store bought. Like you made it, and you live here, and it's where he grew up.
Nice.
So it was nice, when just talking to her, like talking to all these people that come in. You're like, it's nice hearing all their stories regarding this kind of stuff. Yeah. So,
have you gotten any orders from other far places other than like California?
Where you have to ship it?
South Carolina.
Really?
Yeah.
How did they find you? They just...
It was California. I cut out a California shaped out of redwood. And they're like, oh, yeah, I want to order it. I'm like, yeah, sure, it's so-and-so. And they're like, oh, okay, I'll PayPal you. I'm like, okay, well, where do you want to meet up? If you're local, I could meet you up here, or, I could meet you in Uptown. And they're like, oh, well, can you ship it to me? I'm in South Carolina. And I was like,
what?
Why are you in California in South Carolina? But no, he ended up working with, it's a veterans program. It was a California run for the soldiers, something like that. And it was their soldiers run to raise money. So we ended up cutting out a vinyl of their logo, and we shipped it to the Andrew Air Force Base. Wow. So he donated it to them.
Oh, very cool.
Oh, that's really cool.
Yeah. So instead of shipping it over there, we ended up shipping it over here.
Nice.
That's really nice.
Yeah, but I think that's been the farthest one. We're thinking about opening up an Etsy, but then that's the thing too. Like,
actually, that's probably the best place
like
to go. It's I know a guy who this guy, his wife was for the kid's birthday party, started doing cutouts like you know how they do like the happy birthday string, and so they did like an intricate little pattern. They cut it out all in whatever papers and stuff like that, and out of that, she same thing. She like people start saying, "Hey, can where'd you get that?" Like, "Well, I made it. Can you make one?" All of a sudden, like, it turns into a business where she's doing it on Etsy, and so now she has these predefined patterns that you could kind of pick from, and she, and orders just keep coming through. I'm like, man, what a great way to distribute something without having to have an actual storefront. So I thought it was kind of cool. But
the only thing with that it's with us that I feel. Like I said, I tend to overthink things. But with things like with a cutting board or bigger things like that, it's heavier, it's bigger, so shipping costs come into play more so. And in the end, Etsy obviously ends up, charging the customer. Yeah. And then, that's how it's paid. So it's, for me, the only extra effort would be taking it to the post office. Yeah. But it's just, it gets expensive at that point. Yeah. So, I mean, then that's where it's going to open. Because if you want to buy it, you know what the shipping costs are. Yeah. If you want to still get it, go for it. Cool. But yeah, that's what we would do stuff like that for my daughter's birthday. We would do all those. We would get a silhouette, cutting all these little designs, and a simple birthday party turns into like an extravagant carnival theme with like a merry-go-round, and you're like, oh man,
what is your address again?
I know, I'm serious.
Her birthday's in November. I heard.
So around December, I'll be posting stuff up for sale. Party supplies, it's right there ready.
Or come rent this carousel for it.
Yeah, exactly.
All right, man.
Well, we're getting the finger from Christine, the wrap it up finger. So we're going to get into some Whittier questions here. So, when you're not working with wood and you're not at your job and you want to come out here in Uptown or really anywhere in Whittier, where do you normally venture off to as far as getting a bite to eat or maybe an adult beverage?
Different places. We try to hit up a couple of different places.
What's your go-to right now?
Go-to, I guess, safe bet is always like the bottle room because we both like a certain place from there.
What's your favorite dish from there here in your eyes?
I usually get that burger, the Uptown burger. She gets the chorizo flatbread.
That one's really good, by the way.
But usually that's without child because my daughter doesn't care for their mac and cheese.
Really?
It's a hit and miss, right?
Yeah. It's like an adult mac and cheese.
Exactly. Really that's what it is. Because at first she's like,
I love that mac and cheese.
Take the bacon off. So I'm like, it's bacon. You love bacon.
Can we get Can we get the bacon on the side or put it in a to-go box?
And then she's like, well, the cheese isn't orange enough. I'm like, because it's real cheese. So there's different things. But we've done like CGK. We've been there for brunch and it's really delicious.
Nice.
So it's just a matter of waking up early enough to make it there.
Yeah.
Is it busy for brunch?
The times we've been there, it isn't. It hasn't. I mean, we sit down, we get there, we sit down. We don't take full advantage of it because I'm allergic to shellfish, so it's not like avocado. That's most of the stuff there that looks really good. But the other stuff that they have, even like their breakfast taco, it's really good. Saturdays, it's become a tradition to go to a Rad Toast. So after her folklorico class, we take her over there and we have breakfast there.
Nice.
But yeah, different places, Commoner, Rusty Monk. It's a lot of good places here.
Very
So it's nice because even we have a Mexican place that a lot of people know right here off of I think it's off of First Avenue and Whittier Boulevard. I think it's called Baja Rosaritos Mexican.
Oh, Baja Tacos?
No, it's Rosarito Mexican.
Mexican Grill?
Something like that.
I don't know if
Yeah, it's
What?
it's
No way, Christine.
We stumped our.
not a lot of people know it though.
Look.
Because I even mentioned it to Steph from Hungry and Whittier, and she's like, "No, I
Rosarito
know."
Taco Grill.
There you go. Not a lot of
been
people
there?
know it.
No. Oh, man, my dad's calling me. Sorry.
As it ends.
He's gonna call you and say, "You've never been there."
That's exactly what
I
he
took
said.
you when you were a little
We
girl.
were there last week.
No, but that one's really good. And like their menu is like all over like 3 walls. So you go there.
It's like the
"Damn."
Cheesecake Factory. It's like, or no, BJ's has like a 50-page menu.
Yeah. So I mean, we always get like the torta cubana or different things, but that one's a really good place. A lot of people don't know about it, but it's really good.
Now they know.
Yeah. Hopefully.
Nice.
And if there's one thing in Whittier that you would like to see here, that's not currently here, and it could be just about anything, what would you like the city to?
Farmers market, man. Get the summer market going again. That would be nice.
You're talking about the one they closed the street on.
Yeah,
okay.
the one that where they close, because they have the Friday one.
Correct.
Yeah, but the one that summer market or
Yeah.
whatever they call
Yeah.
it, because they kind of started doing it again in Comstock.
Yeah.
But I like the one that they had here in Greenleaf. That would be nice if it was able to. I know there's a bunch of issues with it, and it's hard for everybody to jump on it, but that would be nice.
Good opportunity to sell.
Well, just to walk around in it. I mean,
Yeah.
it was nice. Like, we enjoyed just walking down, we'd grab some, strawberries or what
Yeah.
have you, and eat, and then grab a beer before we went back home.
See, that's what I'm talking about when we talk about providing an environment or an area that truly serves everybody, especially like the locals.
Mm-hmm.
Whether it's young couples, young families, older families, older kids, young kids, basically having something for everybody, and that's I think what's really missing. I don't say missing. I just don't think we've really polished it enough to where it's really there, because there's a lot of people that move around the uptown area for that same reason, like thinking like, if I want to go get a beer, it's walking distance.
Yeah.
Coffee, walking distance. Go get grab something to eat. We're gonna walk.
Mm-hmm.
Park, walking distance. But I think it's. But then you get the opposite people who say, there's really
There's no parking.
Yeah, well, yes, or like there's really not something for me here, so I end up driving away from here.
Mm-hmm.
And it's like, well, why'd you end up moving here in the first place?
Yeah.
And I think that's where I think we really need to work a little bit harder on to be able to polish the uptown area just so it becomes that. Because again, you're not the only one that you're not the only family that's moved here for that reason, and so to be able to provide something for now and future families, I think it's like a win-win for everybody.
Yeah. Well, I was talking to the people from Whittier Brewing Company, and I think that's gonna I'm hoping at least that, especially with their outdoor area, because they were saying they want to bring like music in. That would be cool.
Yeah.
Or like little events for local stuff, and that would be nice too, because the parking lot is right there.
Yeah.
I mean, I could have my beer and still pay attention to
work.
her.
Yeah.
And
You can walk
I'll
home.
still work if the other pop up too.
Yeah.
Yeah. See, so.
It's a walking distance. That's a key,
Yeah, no, and that's what we loved about when we lived up here in Uptown. We could just walk over here.
Yeah.
On Friday night, and it's safe enough where we could walk home 10, 11 o'clock at night.
Yeah.
Not have to worry about anything.
Yeah.
I mean, I wouldn't have done that growing up where I did. But
Exactly.
Here, like, I have no issues with it.
Is there an opportunity to put the logo on these things?
Yeah, we just recently bought a branding iron.
Nice.
So I just got a branding iron.
That's really cool.
And then that's what I'm thinking with the newer ones that I'm going to do.
Yeah.
Just put the brand on the back of it. A lot of people like it. I always try, I'm like self-conscious about it. I'm like, I want to start like branding there, like polo, everything.
Well,
you know?
no, here.
So,
and I see this because you look at the logo and it has like this, it has this kind of like craftsmanship, handcrafted look to it, antique almost, with obviously like some kind of, contemporary spin to it. But it doesn't, it's kind of general, it says Whittier Woodworking.
Exactly.
Who that is, what it is, I think that's kind of like the mystery about it. And anybody could wear it, right?
Yeah.
It's which is why I think your shirts and hats were selling that one day.
Yeah, because it's Whittier, yeah. I mean, if you're here, you either love or hate the city, but if you're here, you probably love it.
No, and it's kind of like when you go to New York and you buy that coffee mug that says "I love New York," even though you're not from New York. It's you bring it back and
It's a piece.
yeah, it's something that you kind of take away. So, anyways, that's my suggestion.
I was going back and forth on these bottle openers. Which, if I had it on my counter, which one would look cooler? Like, this one's a little bit thicker than that one.
No, man, appreciate it. Thank you for bringing these on.
No problem. Thank you guys for having us.
So how do our listeners follow you or contact you?
Instagram, Whittier Woodworks, and then we have email, whittierwoodworks@gmail.com.
Okay.
Best options there.
And that's how they can reach you to order, place orders.
Yeah,
or
if you have any questions, if you ever want to look at stuff, we're usually here in Uptown for the art show. We live close by, so my wife is here. I could come here if you're ever interested in seeing what a certain wood looks like finished, and we could always meet up here. I've met people at Lyft, at Monarca,
Nice.
and then they just see whatever they like. I will bring them samples if it's something custom. I always try to make them a color sample of what they kind of have in mind, and then they choose whichever one they like, and then whatever gets made from that.
Very cool.
Mm-hmm.
Well, thank you again,
No,
and
this is awesome.
on to the next one.
Thank you so much.
Thank
See you later,
Thank
Woody.
guys for having me.
Bye, Whittier.